button. One or nothing. One or nothing. All right, now that I'm sweating, let's go through this. So like I said, I went to a grocery store that's probably like mid price range, but sometimes a little bit on the higher end. Hello from the next day. So I'm just editing this and realizing I took the receipt out of the bag, but forgot to actually read the amount of what I spent in this grocery haul. I say it later on, but just so we are clear up front. I spent $56.71 in total. Specifically, I've noticed with certain items, so I'll point that out as we go. But let's start with the heavy bag. Milk. The only thing I use that for is lattes. You know, oat milk latte. And yes, I aspire to be one of those people that makes homemade oat milk. We're not there. We're not there yet. Okay, so this one, ingredient-wise, is the best one I can find. Some of the more like creamy varieties really just have oil in them, which I don't love. This is my favorite. It's the Planet Oat Unsweetened Original. This was, I don't know, I say it's pricey, but I think it's just going up everywhere a little bit. However, it was, how much? $3.69. Okay, never mind. That wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought it was $4 something for some reason. That's actually pretty good. So $3.69. We'll take it. This guy, however, my brick of coffee. Now I'm not gonna drink all this in a week. This brick will probably last 3 weeks, maybe a little bit more. But I was just out, so even though I got one last week, I like refilled my daily use container, and then I like to have one on hand. Because it's just a real bad day when you wake up and you don't have coffee. So we never want to get in that situation. But this guy was Cafe Bustelo. It's called a brick pack on the receipt. That's amazing. But this was $4.89. I feel like not that long ago it was under $4. And normally I buy this at Walmart because Walmart is my cheapest local option for dry goods, pantry items. So that's normally where I get any canned things, canned beans, coffee, pasta, tomato sauces, rice, things like that. I sometimes go to Walmart if I'm in that area just because it's so cheap, but I have not been driving over there or haven't been there in several days and I needed groceries. So it's one of those things where it's not worth it in gas to drive over there to save me a couple dollars on groceries. I probably spent that more of that in gas. Like my mom is huge on the price per pound thing. Like I mentioned before, she's the one that taught me that from childhood, so it's very ingrained in me. But she'll chase deals to various stores, and it's just like, that's just so not worth it to me because you're just burning up gas to save a couple dollars in groceries. So anyway, side note, but normally dry goods like this I get at Walmart, but today we went to Hannaford. So, as I showed you guys, I just got the store brand of canned beans. It's the same bean that's in the more expensive one. So, I got a can of chickpeas and a can of black beans. Oh, these guys, I don't eat a ton of these. This will probably last me 2 to 3 months, to be honest. And yeah, they're not super fresh by the end of that, but I always end up like grilling my burrito anyway or whatever I'm making, so it doesn't really matter. Wow, I forgot to talk about the price of the beans. Yeah, the black beans were $1.19 and the chickpeas were $1.29. That's not terrible. I want to say at Walmart they're closer to $1 a piece, so not a huge savings, but you know, every penny adds up, especially if you're feeding a lot of mouths. These guys were $4.09. Wow, yeah, $4.09. I don't think that's too bad. That seems pretty on par with Walmart. I normally get these over there too. Oh, y'all, coconut cream. I know it's more expensive. This was $4.59. Price per unit for coconut milk versus coconut cream. So they didn't have this at the store last week when I tried to get coconut cream, so I had to get coconut milk. Not that it really matters, but coconut milk is just watered down coconut cream. And so from this one can, I will be able to get 3 different meals worth of a coconut milk based recipe. When a recipe calls for 1 can of coconut milk, I use 1/3 can coconut cream and then just bring the rest of it up with water. And there's your coconut milk. So initially, this is more expensive, but in the long run, it's cheaper. So I use the 1/3 when I open it, and then I'll just pour the other 2/3 into separate mason jars, and I'll pop them in the freezer. And that way I just grab it and pull it out when I need to make a coconut milk recipe. So that's why I get the cream, even though it's more expensive. Taco seasoning. This guy was $2.99. Definitely not the cheapest taco seasoning on the shelf, but I like this Siete brand. Mostly for the ingredients. Some of them, like the cheaper store brand, sometimes the first ingredient is like brown rice powder or something like that. And then it has spices. This one is just chili powder, sea salt, ground dates, tomato powder. It's just seasoning. There's no weird, not that brown rice powder is weird, but it seems weird to me in a taco seasoning. I just like, give me the spice, you know? So it's a little bit more expensive, but it's one of those like better ingredient quality things for me. And tomato sauce. This was a panic buy only because I didn't know. I know I got 2 last week, but now that I'm thinking about it right now, I was in the store. I was like, I don't know if I have another one of those. Did I use those? No, I didn't use either one now that I'm sitting here thinking about it. So now I have 3, but it doesn't matter. Obviously, I'm definitely going to use this eventually. But this guy was 89 cents, so not bad. I normally get these at Walmart, pretty comparable in price. And then the last thing in this hard goods bag that can go away was my onions. I prefer the Vidalias. They're a little bit more expensive than just the yellow onions, but I like them better, so I just got 2 of those. I used to buy the bag of them. I think I've explained this before. I used to buy like the 3 or 5 pound bag just because they're definitely cheaper per unit price, but I always found that there always seemed to be 1 or 2 in the bag that was like already a little off, and I would try to use those ones up first, but it always seems like by the time I got to the end of the bag, because I'm just cooking for 1 person, they had definitely gone off. So now I just grab a couple a week, and that's perfectly fine. And then this watermelon was $5.99. Yeah, just straight up $5.99. It's pretty small, but not the cheapest thing, but that's okay. Fresh fruit is a must, and I love watermelon, and it's only good around these parts in the summertime, so I eat what I can when it's fresh, seasonal. That's generally cheaper anyway. Speaking of that, cherries were on sale this week, and because they're in season right now. So fruit, I just kind of leave up to what looks good to me at the store, what might be on sale. I love cherries. These are a perfect snack and so good for you. It's a really dark colored fruit, so that means it's loaded with antioxidants, nutrients, vitamins, minerals, all the good shit. So never forget that. The darker, the better, and dark cherries are a very good source of nutrition. So $2.99 a pound altogether. I'm not sure where you look. 2.4 pounds. So it was $7.18 for those, which I already knew. Cherries are not cheap, but it's just one of those seasonal items that I love. And then these Campari tomatoes. Oh my god! Drop everything today. Where are we at with those? Those were $3.99. I feel like not that long ago they were $2.99. That's okay. Bananas were 49 cents a pound, so altogether for that we paid 68 cents. Nice, cheap, okay. Also, I'm gonna say it again. Do Mama Earth a favor and please stop using plastic. These reusable produce bags I've had for years. I just bought them at the grocery store, and I love them. Anyway, grapefruits, got a couple of those. I do like to keep my fruit switched up. I like to get a good mix of citrus and berries and whatever else just to keep a variety of nutrients coming in. So 2 grapefruits. They were $1.29 each. Okay, so no per pound. So $2.58 for the 2 of them. Cool. And then, I debated on these. You guys know how I feel about bag things. But I've been really into them lately, and if there's a fruit or vegetable that I'm into and I'm gonna eat it, I'm okay with kind of paying a little bit more. Like, obviously these bagged clementines or mandarins or whatever, like the specialty, easy to peel, they're really like over glorified little oranges. So it's often a lot cheaper to buy just some oranges in the loose orange section. But these bagged mandarins were on sale for $4.99 a bag, which, again, with bagged things, it's like, it's always guaranteed that there's 1 or 2 in there that are gonna surprise you in the not best way, but that's okay. I'm gonna try my best to eat them up as quick as I can. A zucchini, I get a zucchini every single week. I just throw it up and add it in every dish because it just bulks things out with vegetables, and I'm all about that. That guy was zucchini, $1.99 a pound, so $1.07 for that one, and I'll use that in like 2 to 3 different meals. Avocado selection was looking pretty rough this morning, but this one is like, ooh, it might be ready tomorrow, maybe the next day. I think that was $1.19, my bad. Broccoli was on sale for $1.49 a pound this week. So I just grabbed 1 crown. Yes, I touched them with my fingers at the store, but you just want to give them a squeeze and make sure it's firm and not already limp and half dried out. So this one was good and firm. And that cost me $1.03, and I'll probably use that at least 2 different meals. And then the last thing was the mushrooms. The white ones in the bigger variety pack are cheaper, but I just like the flavor of the brown ones better, and I'm not going to eat a whole variety pack unless I'm doing a mushroom specific dish, which I did not have planned, so I just grabbed these. These were $2.79. Okay, I thought they were more than that for some reason. That's good. That's a good surprise in the right direction. Yeah, pretty good. We got 5 different fruits, 5 different veggies, an avocado, beans. Oh my gosh, that's right, tofu. I wanted another block of tofu, but their selection was completely wiped out other than the silken tofu, which is a no-go for me. I do not like the texture of silken at all. I like a meatier tofu. So sadly, I was not able to get my favorite protein source, but that's okay. I have 2 blocks of it in the freezer. When you freeze and then thaw out tofu to put in a dish, it's a lot firmer. So I get the extra firm already, but it adds a different texture to it. It just makes it a little bit meatier when you freeze and then thaw it. So I'm not totally without it. I have some in the freezer, so I'll just pull one out in the morning when I want to cook a meal with tofu this week, and maybe I'll grab one later on in the week if I make a quick trip or anything else. I feel like I buy the same things over and over again. Oh, and I didn't get any leafy greens because I still have a half of a bunch of the kale that I got last week, and it's still good. I'll just show it to you right now because the preservation tip, and I forget where I saw this tip, but this is her. When I bring home a big bunch of kale, I just do a clean chop on all the ends so that they're fresh, just like when you get a bouquet of flowers at the store, right? And then I just wedge them into a jar and put fresh cool water so it has a drink, and then you just tent it with a plastic bag, seal it up most of the way. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, a tiny bit of air exchange is just fine, but this keeps kale fresh for so flippin' long. So this is the same bunch, half of it anyway. I used half of it already, but this is the bunch I bought over a week ago now. So, and it's still perfectly crisp and ready to go. So I didn't need any more leafy greens. To be honest, I should probably eat more salads, but I don't like them. For the most part, I don't like them, but very good kale hack. But that's it. Keep to the perimeter of the store, because those center aisles, the chips, the cookies, the crackers, the cereals, that's where shit gets in trouble for me. I don't even walk down there because I know I'm gonna see 50 different things that I want, and I'm just not trying to spend money on junk. I don't need to be eating it, so I just stick to the perimeter. I head straight for the dairy where I grab my milk, and then I sweep over, like I just go along the back of the store over to the produce with a quick pop into like the ethnic food aisle or coffee or canned beans, like specific items I'm going down an aisle for. If there's not something I know that's down that aisle that I need, I'm not walking down there, because the temptation is real. Not only do I want to eat it all, but that shit is not cheap either. You know, it really always kind of astonishes me when people are like, eating healthy is so expensive. Is it though? My opinion, $56.71 for all of this for a whole week. Granted, obviously I'll be, you know, putting some cupboard staples in here, like rice that I told you guys I buy in bulk, 20-pound bags, real cheap, and maybe some pasta at $1.25 a box. Again, normally I get that at Walmart, but that's pretty cheap everywhere. You know, it just, eating healthy does not have to be expensive. And yes, we all know there's plenty of vegan junk food. There's a whole freezer section of it now. Oreos are vegan, you know, the classic story. Like, it can be expensive to be vegan. But first of all, I don't like to use that word just because it seems really harsh. Plant-based means I just eat mostly plants. So, and that's, you know, the healthiest that I do for myself. I'm not like a perfect 100% vegan all the time. I do go over to people's houses. I do go out to eat, and they certainly don't always just make everything completely vegan on its own separate grill. You know, I'm just not that strict about it. But when I'm home, well, all the time, really, I'm just trying to fill myself with fruits and vegetables as much as I can, and whole grains, and, you know, plants. So eating healthy does not have to be any more expensive than eating unhealthy. And yeah, I know it sucks to say that when you can go to McDonald's and get $1 hamburger or whatever. I don't even know if they're $1 anymore. I have no idea. But, you know, that's always been the classic argument, and that's always made me really sad, because I've just always found the opposite. When I am going down all of those aisles that I don't need to be going down, like the crackers and the cookies and the cereals and chips, those things are expensive to me. Like, I just went down the cereal aisle recently to have a look at things, and the small box of Fruity Pebbles, yes, that's what I looked at because I love those. It was like almost $5, or maybe more than $5 for the box, and it's like a small box of cereal. What? The nutritional value of that crap is just like, I don't know, it just blows my mind. So I just want to help break the stereotype that eating healthy is expensive, because definitely not. And people always joke about the beans and rice and the rice and beans, and it's like, I love those things. If you jazz them up and season them a million different ways, you know, it'll keep things interesting. It'll keep your flavor profile switched up so you don't feel like you're eating the same thing all the time. But yeah, you know, you're bulking out your meals with incredibly cheap items, especially if you buy dry beans, which I normally do. I just keep, you know, a couple cans a week, because I also get lazy and I get busy, and I don't always remember to soak my beans in the morning if I want to eat them that night or the night before, whatever. Shit happens. But if you go the dry bean and rice route, and then you just build meals off of those kind of things, it can be so cheap. And don't even get me started with the price of meat right now. I have not looked, but everyone bitching about it. So this is one of my frozen blocks. I took a quick video, so I just want to make sure I'm saying this right. $2.49. $2.49 for a block of tofu. This is what pretty much every vegan recipe substitutes for a pound of ground beef. So a block of tofu can be substituted for a pound of ground beef. I don't think a pound of ground beef is going to cost you anywhere near $2.49. I think it's quite a bit more than that. Again, I don't know, I didn't look, I haven't looked in years, but from what I'm hearing, you know, that's the case. And I get it, not everyone likes tofu, not everyone likes beans, I know. But I'm just saying, if you open yourself up to ideas and possibilities, give things a try before you just, because there's so many people that are like, ew, tofu. Have you had it in a way that someone prepared it where it tastes good, or are you just saying that because that one time you had a mushy tofu at a restaurant and now it's just disgusting all the time? Like, it's just a matter of perspective, people. I don't know. I'm just sharing my thoughts on food. Moral of the story, eating healthy does not need to be expensive. So now that we have all the groceries, I am going to be filming the meals that I make this week. Maybe not every single one, but even if I don't film it, I'll still talk about it and what I ate. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me blab. I'll see you guys in the next one.